Grand's huge Veterans Day mattress sale starts now.
And enjoy over 40% savings at House of Bedrooms Kids Veterans Day sale.
It's Bell's Veterans Day sale.
Take advantage of huge savings during the Veterans Day sale at
This week at Ashley Home Store's Veterans Day sale.
At the Interiors Home Veterans Day sale.
40 to 70% off is good. Free is better. This year, Veterans Day falls on the biggest Saturday in furniture.
The Veterans Day sale is happening now at Dixie RV.
It's Sutherland's Veterans Day sale and it's going on now.
I want to talk about something today that's near and dear to my heart, and that's Veterans Day. And thank you for your service. I think about this probably a lot more than I should, to be perfectly honest with you, because my Marine Corps experience comes up pretty often in conversation. And generally, when it comes out that I was a Marine, I get the typical thank you for your service. A couple things on that. Makes me feel awkward inside. Not gonna lie. We're talking about feels, I guess, today. We romanticize the military. Now, before you go flying off the handle, hear me out here for a second. I'm proud that I served in the Marine Corps. I'm proud of my brothers and sisters in arms. I like saying happy birthday on the Marine Corps birthday to other Marines. I feel like it's like a fraternity that we can say to each other, you know, that nobody else can say that. But even when I was in the Marines, active duty, or when I was thinking about it, there was never a time where anybody said, I'm doing this for my country. I'm doing this to protect the freedoms of America's citizens, and I know they're going to be eternally grateful for it. No, we all had different reasons for joining the Marine Corps or the military, and none of it had anything to do with you. I mean, let's be real. Some of us, you know, we're from poor backgrounds. Some of us didn't care about school enough to set ourselves up for success if we did decide to go to college. I mean, we did that to ourselves. In hindsight, it's my own fault. Nobody else's fault. I can't blame society or anybody else for it. Just me. Some of us wanted to travel. Some of us wanted to shoot guns. Some of us wanted to go to war. Some of us actually wanted to shoot other human beings. That sounds pretty messed up, but we're going to get to that here in just a little bit. So stay with me. Some of us wanted college education paid for. But it was never about this romanticized Hollywood script that we were doing it for the country and blah, 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 blah. Now, what I do want to say, I'm not anti-patriot. In fact, I'm a very patriotic person. I like going to baseball games and listening to the national anthem. And yeah, I well up a little bit. I get chill bumps sometimes when the notes are hit just right and those F-16s come flying overhead. I mean, little things like that. Yeah, I can get emotional over patriotic shit. So don't take anything that I'm saying as, oh, he's not patriotic. He doesn't love our country. He's all out for himself. Blah, 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 blah. That's not the case. When I was in the Marines, we had a few things going on. I mean, we had the Congo embassy had some problems that, you know, we were about to go take care of. And I say about to go take care of. Our ship actually, we got the call, we were in Spain and we got the call that we needed to go down to the Congo to take care of some business, and the ship was halfway down the coast of Africa before they said, nope, never mind. Got it figured out. So we turned right back around and went back into the Mediterranean. Kosovo, when that whole thing was active, I was part of the KFOR. I got a Kosovo campaign medal. I mean, really, it felt like a bunch of humanitarian effort more than anything. I mean, there were a few times where we had some people with some small arms fire pointing at us. Don't know if they were shooting at us or not. Helicopters were really loud, and that's what I did. I was in the back of helicopters, most of the time, or working on them. But by and large, it was peacetime when I was in. And when I got out, it was September 11th of 2000. Well, exactly a year to the date of September 11th, 2001. Like most Americans, I'm sure, and many people all over the world, it hit my gut so hard, September 11th attacks. I felt helpless. I didn't know what to do. My dad and I were actually visiting Arizona, and we drove back. On the way back from Arizona to Tennessee, I was trying to get in touch with recruiters to go back in. I wanted to go back active duty. I knew we were about to go to war, and I wanted to go do it. I wanted to be a part of it. And they weren't taking prior service. What they told me was that they had so many people trying to get in now, at that point, since the attacks, that they had no use for prior service. So I really felt completely helpless. And I've lost some people in those conflicts, since 2001. Some people that I know, some I knew more than others, but and that could have been me. But the point is, for me, I didn't get a chance to see if that would have been me or not. And I don't expect everyone to understand that. I really don't. Some people call it the warrior spirit. I don't know. It could just be youthful ignorance. But I wanted to experience those things, at least to say I made it through it. I wanted to prove that I could do it. So I didn't get a chance to, and so I always live with this feeling that I missed out. I made it. There's so many people who didn't make it. When you thank me for my service, it feels like I'm cheating them out of something. I don't know. It does make me kind of question the sincerity sometimes. It's a relatively new idea that this has become something that people say when they disclose that they were in the military anyway. I mean, prior to the September 11th attacks, there wasn't really something that was said. In fact, when I was a young Marine, we would go from the Camp Lejeune, North Carolina complex down to Wilmington, North Carolina. That's where the closest college was. And so as a young kid, 20, 21 years old, we would try to go down to the bars and whatnot, and we weren't allowed in if we were in the Marines. In fact, you'd go to show your ID, and the bouncer would look at you and say, oh, this is a membership only club or bar. And so you would ask for a membership application, and they would say, oh, we only do membership applications on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to noon. Now, knowing good and well that you were in the Marines and that it was impossible that you were going to be there at 10 a.m. or noon on a Wednesday, really unappreciated. And you would meet local girls, you'd try to date them, and their parents wouldn't let you date them because you were a Marine. You're automatically an awful person because you were in the military. Then all of a sudden 2001 comes around, and a tragedy happens, and everybody's thank you for your service. It was a pretty stark contrast. The actions speak louder than words, right? So up until that point in life, it was, we're going to shit on you because you were in the military, and then all of a sudden it's thank you for your service. So yeah, you kind of
question the level of sincerity. And coupled with, this is on top of the things that I've already discussed earlier, but it doesn't come across as sincere. And then now it's so commonplace that it loses some of its authenticity, where it's almost like people feel like they have to say it, or that's the social norm, that you have to say it whether you mean it or not. So it's a programmed response. And then the big box stores or companies get on board. We support our troops. Thank you for your service. And they're not ever really defining how it is that they support the troops. I'd rather see what businesses are doing outside of the signs that say that they support our troops. I want to know exactly what they're doing. Maybe they should be more transparent on that, because if there's no action behind the cardboard cutout that you have in your big box store, then it's shit. It's horse shit. You're not doing anything at all. One of the things that some companies are doing that is attempting to help support is, they've got these hiring efforts for veterans, and it sounds good on the surface, but let's think about that just for a minute. Your average, your person going in the military, they're 18, 19 years old, and your normal 18, 19-year-old person that's starting life isn't going through the things that your 18-year-old military folks are going through. They don't tell you what kind of support options that they have in place when they do get these veterans hired. Let's take these veterans who just got back from some of the most fucked up stuff they've ever done in their life, more messed up than what many adults will ever experience, and we're gonna put them into our culture right away. And it doesn't necessarily work that way. But we can't put them into these organizations with young adults who haven't been in those scenarios and expect everything to just fall in line. There's no real debriefing process when you get through, things that you do in the military. There's no assimilation period. There's no automatically, hey, we've hired the vets, so everything's fine now. No, it's not. So if you're hiring the vet and you don't have anything else in place to make sure you're supporting the vet, then you're still not doing enough. It's the same as the big box stores that say we support our troops. You're not doing enough. Ultimately, I guess the message that I have is, before you just thank somebody for their service, think about your actions, and are you really thanking them for their service? Do you mean it? Do you show it? Are you voting in ways that do support the troops? If you're in charge of an organization that is making hiring decisions, are you really taking that stuff into consideration when you're hiring vets? Are you putting support groups in place? Or are you just doing it to say we hired a bunch of vets to increase, whatever diversity factors that you have? I think we can do a lot more than just thank you for your service.